Welcome to the Artistic Mystic. My name is Megan. It's been a while since I've done a public video. I have a beautiful private podcast and private video area in the membership Gene Keys Unleashed with Haley Curtis. And my friend Lizzie Dewey and I make videos every couple of weeks as we work through our own golden path right now and work with the Gene Keys to find our higher purpose, to do this inner work with this magnificent tool that is the Gene Keys. I welcome you to come and find us in that beautiful membership. There's a link in the show notes. So, yeah. Today I want to talk about the star pearl. And I want to talk about my action triangle, which is the triangle of internal abundance. And that combines the creativity sphere, the stability sphere, and my vocation. So in the creativity sphere, I have 31.3. So my creativity sphere is about leadership. My vocation is 22.5. And that's about graciousness and about honoring my own emotions and the emotions of others. And my stability sphere is 14.3. And 14 goes from compromise to competence to bounteousness. I have had a difficult time cracking this Gene Key. I've been doing this work in the Gene Keys since 2020, and I've been through my golden path. Right now I'm in a container, a year-long container, doing my golden path for the third time. Then the star pearl came in and gave us 3 new spheres, right? They gave us the sphere of stability, the sphere of creativity, and the sphere of relating. I understood my sphere in relating. That's Gene Key 5. I traveled with the elephant and the goose when I was doing the dream arc, so I understood that pretty well. And in the creativity sphere, that leadership piece, I can't say I fully understand that one yet, but I think I'm further along in that than I am here in this stability sphere. This Gene Key 14 has eluded me. And so just recently, our beautiful host, Haley Curtis, in our membership, Gene Keys Unleashed, posed a question to those of us who have been doing the Gene Keys for quite a while. We're called the Gene Keys Geeks. And in there, she posed us a question. She said, okay, in your star pearl, find the Gene Key that is your stability Gene Key. And I challenge you to find a ritual to bring that energy of that Gene Key into your own personal stability. How could you create a daily ritual or a weekly ritual or, every other day ritual, whatever works for you? How could you create a ritual to ground yourself into this time and space and place that we live in that will create an essence of stability in your life? And then she went on in her video to explain what she was doing for her ritual and what her Gene Key and how she's using that to bring stability into her life. I, of course, wanted to absolutely start doing a ritual right now using my Gene Key 14. And I recognized that I don't know enough about 14 yet. And what that did is it led me on a path led me on a contemplative path to recognize that this was a kind of a black hole in a way in my star pearl. that here is this magnificent gene key of 14, and I'm assuming it's magnificent because I haven't found it yet for myself. I am assuming it's magnificent because my experience with all the other gene keys that are in my chart are that they are magnificent, and they are a part of me. And so there is something going on within this gene key, within gene key 14, whether I'm in the shadow, whether I'm, who knows what's going on, but it needed more contemplation. So yesterday I was listening to the audio for Richard's audio for gene key 14 as I was walking. As I was listening to Richard talk about the gene key 14, Haley had recommended that I pull out those pieces from his audio and figure out what's resonating with me right now. What is resonating with me right now about gene key 14? And instead of trying to think that I need to crack open every single part of it. So I thought, I was contemplating as I was listening to Richard, and I loved when he talked in gene key 14 about the hexagram. And the hexagram, because this is part of the ring of fire, gene key 14, it's paired with gene key 1, which is all yang, it's all fire, it's the ultimate creativity. Gene key 14 is in that same ring of fire. It's only the two of them. And gene key 14 has five yang lines. So 5 fire lines, right? This fire, this creativity. I hadn't put that together quite before, that here in my stability sphere is this amazing energy of creativity. Not in my creativity sphere, but in my stability sphere. So grounding in creativity might be important, okay, in my little ritual. However, there is one line that is a yin line, and it is in the 5th position. And Richard says the 5th position in any hexagram is the leader position. It's the power position. So, which is also an interesting note, isn't it? Now I'm going to have to go look at all of my hexagrams and say, ooh, what's going on in these hexagrams here? So that 5th line is yin. So my creative spark, my creative energy is ruled by yin, by the feminine, And that is borne out in the animals, the dream arc animals that go with this, especially the badger. The badger is the dream arc mammal, the middle world animal. And the badger has a very feminine side to it. It's a nocturnal creature. It's ruled by the moon. That's a very feminine. So the badger can bring in this feminine ruler of this masculine creativity. So how might I make a ritual around bringing in the feminine with these, and grounding in the feminine, and then all this fiery energy? So I am in the middle of creating that right now because that's what I pulled out of the audio. Okay, so I'm creating a ritual right now. In fact, the beginning of it is my badger on a piece of rock that is directly from the rock that is embedded in the earth here, right over on our kind of like our yard. Okay, this piece was chipped off, and I don't even know what kind of rock it is. I'm going to do a little research, but she, and the rock are going to be part of my new ritual. It's going to be a very short ritual. Probably have some fire involved, and also the other 2 animals. I have a toucan and a turtle as well. I will be exploring those 2 animals as I move through what kind of prayer, what kind of intent I might bring to the ritual to bring in the energies of this gene key into stabilizing and grounding my world. That's all well and good, and I could probably stop the video here right now, and you'd have a bite-sized piece to work with. But what actually ended up happening is I had a breakdown of sorts as I was sorting through this yesterday, because I recognized that I have compromised my dreams. This is the shadow of this gene key compromise. I have compromised my dreams for endless decades, it feels like. I don't even know anymore what my dreams are. So that is something that will be something for me to patiently, gently, in a nurturing way, in a tender way. My purpose is tenderness. In a tender way, I am going to bring light to this difficult place that I'm finding in myself right now. Richard talks about compromise. And he talks about the difference between an outer compromise and an inner compromise. I'm not going to go in it. If you're interested in Gene Key 14, please listen to the audio or read about it in the 64 Ways. But when he was talking about an inner compromise, that's where the dreams get shut down. That's where your disconnect happens between you and spirit. And the way to tell if you're compromising something is to look at your heart, to ask your heart, where are you compromising your own love? Where have you compromised your own love for yourself? Where have you compromised love for others? Where have you compromised love for God? Where have you compromised your love for the planet? Where are you compromising yourself? I haven't quite got the connection between where am I compromising myself and then turning it into being competent. I guess I can make the thread the needle there and say that when I am true to my heart, I am no longer compromising. It brings in a power of great competence. What actually came up as an example of this in my life, it isn't as large as a dream, although in a way it is, and that is around AI-generated images. I've been doing AI-generated images now. I discovered them, I think, back in October. I discovered that I could use a small app that I had been using just to edit digital art. And I could use it to generate an AI image with the formula that I give it. And I knew that there were probably some moral and ethical questions about this. And yet the facility to make this art and to make it so quickly was enchanting to me. And since finding that, I have made 4 oracle card decks. I have a deck of cards here of all the dream arc animals for my whole golden path and the lines. I have so many cards here. I have 64 cards here, and they, I have the piranha, who is the fear of passion. He's my core wound and vocation. I have the deer, this is the power of graciousness and the line 5 together, you know. I have these gorgeous cards that I created, and then I created a deck for my friend Lizzie, and I created a deck for my teacher Haley, and I created a deck for my friend Debbie. And I was in love with creating these beautiful images so easily, so quickly. You see, I am an artist. I have a degree in art. And one thing I never was good at in art, my focus was in ceramics, my focus was in sculpture, in non-functional ceramics. I'm not finding one of my pieces here on my desk, but I did beautifully when I was doing design work, so understanding the principles of design, and then I did marvelous work with my hands, but I was really, I don't have a facility for drawing. I don't have a facility for painting. I don't have a facility for watercolor. That is not where my genius flows. So here I was in this fantasy world of, ooh, I made that. I made that deer. I made that, mischievous raccoon who's juggling balls to represent wily equilibrium. I made that. No, I did not make that. A machine who took my prompt went and trolled the internet to find fairy tale images in a watercolor style that featured animals doing what I asked them to do. It stole from other artists in order to make these images for me. Yes, there is no actual artwork that made this exact thing, and a machine put it together, and put a machine program put it together, but it was somebody's style. It was somebody out there. It's their style, And not only that, what about all of the energy it took for it to troll the internet to find this? How many prompts did I put in? How many times did it go out looking to find this image? How much energy was, I'm not going to say wasted, but how much energy was utilized that might eventually affect our planet in order for me to have this image? It isn't even me doing the work with my hands. It's not even me taking the patient time to create something on paper with my hands, with my eye hand coordination, with my own abilities, my own unability, my own practice. So that came up, all of this came up yesterday. Last night I had a hard time falling asleep. I recognize that I have now, since doing those 4 decks, I have started a project of doing the pulse with 3 animals, making pulse cards. I have utilized this within my membership, making dream arc animals for all of the members every time we move to a new sphere. I have used this to make another art journal that is very image heavy about me. And for instance, this is Gene Key 14. That's avatar of me with the toucan. I have made all of these cards to try to bring the essence of an idea or an epiphany or a teaching into form by making these images, by sending out that AI to troll the internet to find watercolor images of an elephant so that I can better understand the concept of deep patience. I just yesterday finished a deck of cards for Gene Key 50, which is where I am at right now in the Golden Path in my IQ. And so I have 64 cards of a spider, of the raccoon, of the golden oriole, all with quotes about equilibrium, about overwhelm, about harmony, about corruption. And I just sent them off to the printer yesterday. All of those are generated utilizing energy that isn't mine to give, utilizing water to cool towers, utilizing somebody else's watercolor style to give me the ease and flow of bringing these ideas into the form. So I was actually brought a huge conundrum, a huge contemplation to me about where within all of this am I compromising myself? There are ethical problems, there are moral problems, but where I'm really, really compromising myself, it's not my art. I am an artist. I do create art. Just because I don't draw, just because I don't paint watercolor, just because I can't, for the life of me, make a toucan look like a toucan, doesn't mean I'm not an artist, and doesn't mean I can't express what I want to express in my way of artistry. My way of artistry is art journaling, is making, bringing together existing images along with various hand-eye expressions, using color, using watercolor, using acrylic inks, using acrylic paint, using brush strokes, using pencil strokes, using words that I've put together by any number of ways. I have a beautiful typewriter, antique typewriter that I type on. That is me using my brain with my imagination, with my hands, with this beautiful tool of a typewriter where I am putting in the time, I am putting in the energy, I'm putting in the sweat, I am putting together these pages to better understand myself creatively, using found images, using found textures, using stamps for the letters, using the typewriter, doing all of this that is engaging my whole body. Okay. That's where I've been compromising myself, I think. And I've got to tell you, this is an ongoing contemplation. This has just barely come up. I told you that. However, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's be real clear about this. I am not going to throw out my decks. Okay? Yes, this may have cost a lot of energy. Yes, it was based on somebody else's watercolor style. Yes, a machine created it. And yes, it also serves to be an historical part of my creative process and my inner process. Okay. Am I going to stop making more AI-generated images? At this point, just very newly into exploring this, I am going to pull back enormously. I am not going to make lots and lots and lots of images. That, to me, the idea of cooling these towers while this AI generator goes out trolling the internet for images that people don't even know they're being trolled for, that just does not suit me right now. But I also am absolutely in love with bringing an image together that combines the essence of a teaching that I am learning about right now. There is something about that that is really helping my personal growth right now. So I'm trying to find a point of equilibrium here where I am respecting the ethical and moral questions that are brought up with AI generation. And I'm also going to allow myself to make images if I am called to do so to understand a point better. Does that mean I might not move that to my art journal? Wouldn't that be interesting? You know, to me, my first thought about that is, but that's so slow. No, it's not. I can make an art journal page in a day. I used to make an art journal page every day for years. I can make an art journal page in a day, bringing in the essence of what I'm trying to learn. Just because I've gotten so spoiled and so addicted to making an image that that it's just like that. I mean, that AI generator brings me back 3 or 4 images just like that, and whew, I've got it. So now I'll do another one, and now I'll do another one. That behavior can be modified. That behavior can change. I like to put art to my concepts, and maybe I need to start moving it back to genuine art. Because I know I'm not fooling anybody. I'm not fooling myself either that this is genuine art. Hell no. This is not genuine art. This is this is not genuine art. I don't even need to tell you what it is. And does it help me in my personal growth? Yes. I have an art journal full now of myself, and of course I open to it. There we go. Myself generating all these images that are going with concepts that I've learned about myself and my own personal journey. Look at this one. Yeah. So what I have proposed to myself is to pull back, and the only time I'm going to use the AI generator is for my own personal use, for my own personal breakthroughs, and only if I can't, only to enhance possibly what I'm also doing in an art journal. And that's a movable feast right now. Part of me is saying, I can't give that up. So clearly I'm addicted. I'm addicted at this point to this. And so any addiction, you don't want to, what is even the term? I'm not remembering the term, but you don't want to cut off cold turkey, because when you cut off cold turkey, you're actually practicing the addiction. You're just not practicing the addiction. You're still in the addictive mindset. You're just not practicing at that moment. So, and the word is on the tip of my tongue, and I'm not thinking what it is. But I don't need to binge, and I don't need to starve. I can find a middle ground where little by little I'm letting go of relying on AI images, which are compromising my creativity. Yeah. Okay, well, thank you again for listening to me and for witnessing my deeper understanding of compromise. And in my stability sphere. Until next time, bye-bye.